last presenter is not an economist, but for not an economist, a surprisingly large number of people at this conference have come up to him and said hi and that they really love his work. We have such things as this. We have what I feel is the John Lithgow equivalent of the character in Third Rock from the Sun. That's really what I think about here. You have a non-economist coming in as a humorist, writing stuff about economics, really giving us that outside perspective. He's not so much in that world, but he knows enough to be like, hey, you guys are being freaking ridiculous, and it's awesome. So, without further ado, I would like to present the author of the popular webcomic Saturday Morning Breakfast Cereal, Mr. Zach Weiner. Weinersmith, sorry. All right.
Thank you.
There we go.
Howdy. Anyone notice the speaker's making like a thumping noise?
It's my heartbeat.
I thought maybe I was in a telltale heart situation there. So I only have about 5 minutes. I'm only going to propose one structural change to society. Let's see. I don't know which button to press. I'm just going to start pressing. That's not a button.
Trial and error.
Did I win? Oh, I got to go back. All right. So you may be wondering why a cartoonist is here at an economics conference talking to economists about economics. But actually, I think I'm more qualified than all of you to talk about economics. And I have good reasons for that. Maybe you don't know this, my background is in literature and in physics. And in literature, you pretend to know what you're talking about. And in physics, you use math. I think there's, yeah. So, but anyway, I'm not here to talk about my background. I'm here to talk about economics. So we all know money can't buy happiness. But the hedonics literature tells us why. If you have money, you're already happy, so you don't need to buy happiness. And in fact, it's been shown that happiness correlates with money all the way up to about $75,000. And if I understand that correctly, that means for every $75,000 you get, you're even more happy. I call this money happiness equivalence principle. Once you accept this, that money literally is happiness, you might propose that we should design the economy to get the most people the most money, but that's a bunch of wimpy Paul Krugman bullshit. The hedonic endgame is to maximize aggregate happiness, not to maximize average or median happiness. And so to that end, we have to find those individual people who are most happy to get money. And we have to give them all of the money. We're looking for the people with a high K-naught. This might sound like an impossible task. How do we find the people who like money the best? But actually the data is readily available thanks to the axiom of revealed preferences. It is a fact proven by theory that consumption reveals preference. So whoever has the most of something has the most desire for it, and with that in mind, we dug into the numbers. So this is a graph, and on the x-axis, we have wealthiness, and on the y-axis, we have how much money you have. And this, I didn't make this up, this is true. Look at that. It might look like we fudged this a little, but we did a best fit line. Perfect correspondence, and we were a little worried maybe this isn't super robust, or maybe there's some cross-contamination, non-orthogonal factors here. So we checked some other things. This is wealthiness versus affluence, richitude, and cash-havingness. So it's clear wealthy people have a clear revealed preference for money that the rest of us don't have. So we have to conclude that $1 given to a rich person produces more happiness than a dollar given to a poor person. And so we could say by choosing to want this money, rich people are signaling their preference. And the converse is also true, because why would you have 20 bucks in your bank account if it wasn't optimal? This might seem a little counterintuitive. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to show something very important. The data is actually so good we can throw in outliers for no reason. Don't recommend that. But in any case, I have some examples, some real-world examples we found of this effect. For instance, it's been noted that lottery ticket winners tend to, in the long run, not actually gain in happiness. And the theory was, well, maybe they're not the kind of people who would be getting money. They don't have what it takes. They don't know what to do with it. Who knows? But they're wrong. The theory that proves it, or that tells you the truth, is that we know only rich people have a preference for money. These are poor people who came into money. They don't have a preference for it. That's why they're not any happier. Also, if you give a poor person a giant pile of gold, say, the poor person doesn't have a huge warehouse to put all the money in. They probably don't know how to swim in it. So they're probably going to end up more unhappy than they were before they got the pile of gold. So having proven the theory both by stating it and imagining it to be true, I want to move directly to policy implications. So since rich people like money, we should get them as much money as possible. And this is hard because they already have most of the money. But one possible source of new money is forcing poor people into unsustainable debt. And you might say, oh, that's mean. But remember, we have to consider the revealed preferences of the poor for ill-advised financial instruments. Billionaires, for example, almost never get payday loans. It's just, you never see it. And they don't get bad student loans, they don't accrue credit card debt, so clear revealed preference. And so this presents a sort of natural synergy I call the Robin Hood protocol. So in conclusion, if we take all of the money from the poor people, and then a bunch more money from poor people, and we give it all to the rich people, then society as a whole, which is perfectly expressed by this single variable made-up data two-dimensional graph, will be better than ever. Thank you.
What you just saw was a component of what Zach would call Ba-Fest, meaning, of course, the festival of bad ad hoc hypotheses. He's done these in various cities as it pertains to biology. I've seen evolutionary explanations for why everything tastes like chicken. I've seen evolutionary explanations for why babies are shaped the way they are. Apparently it has to do with aerodynamics. I don't know. But it's nice to see that he's moving over into our world and showing that, like other scientists, we too can have a lot of bad ad hoc hypotheses.